Welcome back to Top 5. The city of Chicago stood tall in the late afternoon light, casting long shadows across the south side. To Jalen Bishop, the skyline resembled a mirage, a distant dream of success and luxury that people like him weren't supposed to touch. It glittered, unreachable and indifferent to the struggles of those living in the neighborhoods hidden behind the shiny high-rises. Standing on the corner of 61st and Wallace, Jalen felt the cracked sidewalk beneath his feet, the rows of boarded-up homes, and the distant sounds of sirens and shouts. It was all part of him, part of his world. He stuffed his hands deep into the pockets of his hoodie, feeling the familiar buzz of electricity beneath his skin. It was always there, humming just below the surface, waiting for a release. "Jalen. You good?" called Malik, jogging up to him, a well-worn laptop tucked under his arm. "Yeah, just contemplating the universe," Jalen replied, forcing a smile. "You know, if you keep staring at the ground, you might miss the memo that says we're superheroes now," Malik joked, adjusting his glasses. "We're supposed to look heroic and stuff." "Right, because nothing says hero like a hoodie and a pair of sneakers," Jalen grinned, though the weight of their situation tugged at his insides. "Hey, if it works for Spider-Man," Malik shrugged. "Let's get to the warehouse, the others are waiting." Inside the abandoned warehouse, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. The dim lighting cast long shadows, and the flickering candles barely illuminated the faces of Jalen's team, the unseen. Keisha stood at the front, her arms crossed, a determined look on her face. Danny leaned against a wall, her expression unreadable, while Malik set his laptop down, fingers flying over the keys. "All right, team," Keisha began, her voice strong. "We need to come up with a name for ourselves. I'm tired of calling us the Unseen. It sounds like a bad horror movie. How about the Electric Avengers?" Danny suggested, a smirk playing on her lips. "You know, because Jalen can zap things?" "Sounds cheesy," Malik chimed in. "How about the Bishops? It's catchy and gives us a strategic edge." "Bishops?" Jalen echoed, incredulous. "Like the chess piece? That's a bit nerdy, don't you think?" "Exactly. We can make strategic moves and checkmate the bad guys," Malik said, grinning. "All right, let's do it," Keisha decided, nodding. "The Bishops it is. Jalen, you're the leader now. You know, since it's your last name and all." "Wait, I'm the leader? I'm not related to any of you." Jalen protested, but his friends were already looking at him with expectation. "Yeah, but you've got the powers," Danny pointed out. "And that makes you special. Plus, you're the one who wanted to take action." "Fine, I'll take it," Jalen said, taking a deep breath. "Let's show the world what the Bishops can do." The next day, the team gathered again, ready to take the fight to the streets. Jalen felt a mix of excitement and nerves as he paced in front of his friends. "We've been trying to find out who's behind the explosions. We need intel, and we need it fast. Maybe we should consider getting some jobs," Malik suggested, tapping away on his laptop. "I heard of someone who knows the underworld, maybe he could help us." "Jobs?" Keisha raised an eyebrow. "Like what? Working at a fast food joint?" "No, like getting intel on bad guys," Malik clarified. "We could be mercenaries. Get paid and take down the bad guys at the same time." "Sounds like a plan." "Let's meet this dude," Jalen agreed, feeling a surge of hope. They made their way to a rundown diner on the edge of town, a place that looked like it had seen better days. The air was thick with the smell of greasy food and old coffee. As they entered, a man with a rugged exterior caught their attention. He was leaning against the counter, a smirk on his face. "Welcome, bishops," he said, his voice smooth. "Name's Marcus. I hear you're looking for work." "Yeah, we need info on some villains," Jalen replied, crossing his arms. "What do you have for us?" "I can set you up with jobs to take down the worst in the city, but I need to know you're serious," Marcus said, his eyes glinting. "First up is a guy named Vortex. He's powerful and has been causing havoc, manipulating the weather and whatnot. If you want to make a name for yourselves, he's your target." "Vortex?" Danny echoed, her brows furrowing. "That sounds dangerous." "Dangerous? You have no idea," Marcus replied, leaning in closer. "His powers are unique. He can whip up storms and create whirlwinds at will. Not to mention, he's quite the wordsmith. He can charm you into doing anything before you even realize it." "Great, so we're dealing with a weather wizard with charisma," Keisha said, crossing her arms. "What's the plan?" "You gather intel, find his hideout, and then take him down. Simple. Just be careful, he's not someone you want to underestimate," Marcus warned. As they discussed the plan, Jalen felt a sense of confidence wash over him. "All right, bishops. We've got a mission." The team split up, each taking a different area of the city to scout for information on Vortex. Jalen and Malik ventured into the heart of downtown, searching for leads. The streets were bustling with life, but Jalen felt the ever-present weight of their mission. "Did you hear that?" Malik suddenly said, his eyes widening. "I think I just heard someone mention Vortex. Let's follow that lead," Jalen said, adrenaline pumping through him. They ducked into an alley, listening intently as a group of men spoke in hushed tones. "I heard he can control lightning, too," one of them whispered. "Made a storm that wiped out half a block last week." "I thought he was just a fraud," another voice said. "But he's got the real deal. You cross him, and you're done." Jalen exchanged a glance with Malik, their eyes filled with determination. "We need to get this information back to the others," Jalen said. Later that evening, the bishops regrouped in the warehouse. Jalen felt a sense of urgency. "I heard Vortex is stronger than we thought. We need to prepare. Maybe we should take some time to train," Keisha suggested. "We can't go in blind." Before they could plan further, Marcus entered the warehouse, a concerned look on his face. "I hope you're all ready," he warned. "I just got intel that Vortex is planning to strike again, tonight." "Tonight?" Jalen repeated, feeling a chill down his spine. "What's the target?" "A community center on the south side. He plans to cause chaos and take advantage of the crowd," Marcus explained. Jalen felt a surge of determination. "We can't let that happen. Bishops, let's move." As the team raced through the city, Jalen led the charge, his heart pounding with adrenaline. They arrived at the community center, a lively place filled with families and children. The festive atmosphere felt at odds with the urgency of their mission. "Where is he?" Jalen murmured, scanning the area. Suddenly, a gust of wind picked up, swirling leaves around them. The air crackled with energy, and Jalen felt a familiar buzz beneath his skin. "He's here!" Jalen shouted. Vortex appeared, the wind whipping around him like a tornado. "Ah, the bishops! How delightful of you to join the party," he exclaimed, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Party? This isn't a game." Jalen shouted back, trying to sound more confident than he felt. "Game? Oh, but it is. And you've already lost," Vortex replied, raising his arms dramatically, summoning storm clouds overhead. "Let's see if you can weather the storm." With a flick of his wrist, lightning shot from the sky, striking dangerously close to the crowd. Chaos erupted as people screamed and ran for cover. "Protect the civilians!" Keisha yelled, her voice cutting through the panic. Jalen felt the electricity surge within him, a mix of fear and determination. "We have to stop him," he shouted. "Bishops, let's work together." As they strategized, Vortex continued his barrage of destructive weather, the winds howling. Jalen realized they needed to take him down quickly before anyone got hurt. "Malik, can you disrupt his control over the weather?" Jalen asked, trying to rally his team. "On it." Malik replied, his fingers flying across his laptop as he hacked into nearby electrical systems. "Danny, we need you to phase through whatever he throws at us," Keisha added, her eyes focused on the swirling storm. Jalen took a deep breath, channeling his energy. "Let's do this. Bishops, on my count." But before they could launch their attack, Vortex unleashed a powerful gust of wind, knocking Jalen and Keisha backward. Jalen hit the ground hard, the impact stunning him for a moment. Shaking his head to clear the fog, he looked up just in time to see Keisha struggling against the wind, her face contorted in pain as she tried to regain her footing. "Keisha!" Jalen shouted, panic flooding through him. He scrambled to his feet, the electricity within him thrumming with urgency. "Get back!" As the storm raged around them, Jalen felt the weight of leadership pressing down on him. He couldn't let fear take over, he needed to protect his friends. He focused on the energy swirling within him, the power that had always felt volatile, but now began to feel like a lifeline. "Danny, get to the civilians," Jalen commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Malik, can you create a distraction?" "Trying." Malik yelled, his laptop working overtime as he manipulated the nearby electrical systems. Lights flickered and dimmed, creating an eerie atmosphere amidst the chaos. Danny phased through a nearby wall, appearing behind a group of terrified children, her voice calm and steady. "This way. Follow me." She ushered them towards safety, her ability allowing her to slip through the crowd unharmed. Vortex, noticing the shift in the air, turned his attention toward Jalen. "You think you can stop me, little bishop?" he taunted, a wicked grin spreading across his face. "You're just a pawn in my game." "Maybe," Jalen replied, trying to channel his fear into determination. "But even pawns can take down kings." With that, Jalen unleashed a surge of electrical energy, sending a bolt of lightning arcing toward Vortex. The bolt struck the ground between them, sending a shockwave of energy that caused Vortex to stagger slightly. Impressive, but not enough. Vortex countered, lifting his hands to summon more powerful winds. "You'll need more than that to defeat the storm." Just as Jalen prepared to strike again, he noticed Keisha struggling to stand. She was visibly hurt, her breathing labored. "Keisha," he called out, heart racing. "Get back. We need to regroup." "I'm fine," she gasped, though it was clear she was anything but. "We can't let him win." But before Jalen could respond, Vortex unleashed a powerful gust of wind that sent Keisha crashing to the ground. "You should have stayed down, little bishop," he sneered. "No!" Jalen shouted, fury igniting within him. The electricity surged, coursing through his veins like wildfire. This time, he focused all his energy into one concentrated attack, letting the storm inside him explode. "Bishops! Now!" Jalen yelled, rallying his teammates. Malik, Danny, and even Keisha struggled to their feet, sensing the urgency in Jalen's voice. With a coordinated strike, they all launched their abilities at once. Malik hacked into the city's electrical grid, creating a blackout that dimmed the lights throughout the area, while Danny phased through the debris, appearing right next to Vortex to distract him. Keisha, despite her injuries, summoned the last of her strength to create a barrier of energy around Jalen. "On my count!" Jalen shouted, channeling the collective energy of his team. 3, 2, 1. With an explosive burst, Jalen released the stored electricity, sending a powerful bolt straight at Vortex. The lightning crackled through the air, illuminating the darkened community center like fireworks on the 4th of July. The energy collided with Vortex, who was momentarily blinded by the brightness. "No!" he screamed, the winds around him faltering as the electrified energy surged through him. The storm he had created began to dissipate, and the chaos around them stilled. But just as victory seemed within reach, Vortex retaliated with a final, desperate move. With a wrenching twist of his hands, he summoned one last powerful gust that flung Jalen and his friends backward, sending them sprawling across the ground. Jalen landed hard, the air knocked from his lungs. As he gasped for breath, he looked over to see Keisha lying motionless on the ground, a look of pain frozen on her face. "Keisha," he cried, scrambling to her side. "Get back," she managed to whisper, her voice barely audible. "He's too strong. Stay with me. Please." Jalen pleaded, panic rising in his chest as he shook her gently. "You have to get up. We can't lose you." Malik rushed over, his expression filled with fear. "Jalen, we need to get her out of here. She's hurt badly." Just then, Vortex staggered to his feet, glaring at the group with rage. "You think you can stop me? I will destroy everything you care about." Jalen felt the electricity inside him flare, fueled by anger and desperation. "You won't hurt anyone else," he growled, pushing himself up with determination, ready to confront the villain again. But before he could act, Vortex unleashed another violent wind, sending Jalen crashing into the nearby wall. The impact jarred him, but he refused to give in. He pushed himself up again, his eyes locking onto Vortex. "Jalen, we need to retreat." Danny shouted, but Jalen shook his head. "No. I won't leave her." Jalen yelled, his heart racing. He felt the familiar hum of electricity beneath his skin, a storm brewing within him. This time, it wasn't just about his powers, it was about protecting the people he loved. As Vortex prepared to unleash another attack, Jalen channeled every ounce of energy he had left. "This ends now," he declared, raising his hands as a bolt of electricity surged towards Vortex, illuminating the ruined community center. The electricity crackled in the air, and time seemed to slow as Jalen unleashed a massive surge of energy. The impact hit Vortex squarely, sending a shockwave that knocked him off his feet, the winds around him collapsing into stillness. But the victory was bittersweet. Jalen rushed back to Keisha, his heart pounding as he knelt beside her. "Stay with me, Keisha," he pleaded, tears stinging his eyes. Malik and Danny hurried to their side, panic etched on their faces. "We need to get her help," Malik urged, his voice trembling. As the sounds of sirens echoed in the distance, Jalen cradled Keisha's head in his lap, feeling a sense of dread settle over him. "You're going to be okay," he whispered, though uncertainty gnawed at him. "We're going to get you out of here." But as the paramedics arrived, Jalen felt a hollow ache in his chest. He had fought bravely, but at what cost? Keisha was injured, and he had led them into danger. The episode ended with Jalen watching as the paramedics loaded Keisha into an ambulance, fear and determination battling within him. He felt the weight of leadership heavier than ever before, knowing that the battle was far from over, and that the stakes had never been higher.